it seems like the craziest thing ever, but if you'll just focus on breathing when you get in high pressure situations or you start to get nervous or you're doubting yourself, literally just breathe. The
Yeah.
oxygen calms your brain down and it just puts you on a whole new level.
Cox, let's go, Tiger, right here. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ramblin Rodeo Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Ellis, and I hope you're enjoying your day from wherever you're watching from. Today, we have Colee Cox on the podcast. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm excited for this episode. Before we start, we're going to start with prayer, and then we will go into the podcast. Dear Lord, I thank you for allowing me to be able to do this podcast today. I thank you for all the opportunities you've given me. I pray that this podcast helps somebody out today, God, whether it's somebody spiritually or someone just trying to, continue their journey on the rodeo path. God, I pray, God, that even after we leave this call, God, that you would continue to bless Coley as she continues to go out and let her path just be guided by you. I praise you and thank you for all you do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Well, if you want to start off by telling us a little bit about who you are and what you do, this is the Legends in the Making series. So this is practically young, rodeo athletes practically making a wonderful name for themselves. And as we see in the background, you're doing such an awesome job. But tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Colee Cox, obviously, since you introduced me. I live in Tell, Texas, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's 15 people that live here. All there is a post office and a church. Um, I breakaway rope, I goat tie, and then I also rein cow horse, like for high school rodeos. Um, I live on a farm and ranch. Neither one of my parents rodeoed. I'm first generation rodeo athlete. I had some really great mentors growing up that taught me the ropes and people that still do teach me because we're all still learning. Um,
Yeah.
Actually, my dad was a drag racer and he showed horses like Western Pleasure and Halter. And my mom played all the sports in high school, volleyball, tennis. She went to college to play volleyball and to cheer. So when I was first growing up, I played all the sports. I did it all. And I showed horses, Western Pleasure, Halter, all that fun stuff. My parents actually entered me in the Quanah Junior Rodeo one year, and they entered me on my show horse, which show horses are not very fast, but I ended up winning this little rodeo and won my first rodeo buckle. And when I came out of the alleyway, I think it was after poles, I told my dad, I was like, I have the need for speed. And I've really just never looked back.
Wow. So you enter So how did you go from showing horses? Like, was there just like, man, I just want to enter? Was it just kind of very random?
It was just kind of random. We were coming home from a show one day, and my parents, I guess, saw the flyer on Facebook. And so they entered me, and I had a blast. And I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. How nervous were you the first time?
I don't guess I was very nervous because I remember that it was just like the best day of my life. Like I was having so
Yeah.
much fun. There wasn't
Yeah.
any pressure. I mean, I was only like 7 years old probably, so didn't really know
Yeah.
what nerves were back then, but
Wow. So you said it was poles, right?
yes.
And you win. And, practically after you win, no matter what it is, it's just a cycle. Like you just want to go, 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 go. So after that, did you stop showing horses or where did it kind of go from there?
Yes, so I kind of slowed down showing horses. I told my parents I wanted to enter a few more rodeos. I didn't just quit. I had a really nice show horse at the time, so I did the world show and did all that fun stuff. But eventually I kind of just slowed down showing horses and I didn't want to go slow anymore. I wanted to go fast and the horse that I had at the time was my dad's old show horse when he was younger. His name was Skip, and he was one of those that was broken up that could do both. So I'd go show him in the morning and go rodeo on him in the afternoon. So
Wow, that is awesome. So you really pick up, and were you primarily okay? So let's go back a little bit. Um, you were showing horses, and you entered polls. Did you really like do a lot of anything with polls before that? Or was it just like I'm gonna watch a YouTube video on how to run a pole pattern on the way there and enter?
I had really never seen pole bending before when I got there. I mean, I'd watched some of my friends that were older at the rodeos do it, of course, but I watched the kids that went before me and just kind of figured it
Oh
out and
my goodness.
went with it.
And won it. Wow. So it just kind of picks up from there. You enter a few more rodeos. Now, where was like your rodeo where you're just like, man, this is going to be my event? So you really start with poles. How did you get into breakaway and all that stuff?
So I was all around cowgirl for the longest time. I barrels, poles, goats, breakaway, all of it. Um, I think it was about 13 is when I kind of finally quit barrels and poles. That's kind of when I decided I was like, go tying and breakaways what I really want to focus on for the rest of my life. And so um, I loved barrels and poles. I was competitive at it my younger years, and I just one of my best horse that I had at the time, he got hurt and I never could click with another one. And so I just was like, I'll just stick to breakaway and goat tying for now.
Yeah. So when you started first entering the breakaway and go tying, were you winning pretty quickly?
Oh no, it was a long stretch of practice and tears and all the things because it's
Yeah.
definitely not an easy event. Like I would, barrels is not easy by any means, but you can kind of catch on to that pretty quickly because it's more of the horse than the rider.
Yeah.
Goat tying and breakaway, it takes a lot of time and practice to get to
Yeah.
where you can win.
That would honestly probably suck for me. Like if I was to enter and the first time I entered, like ever a rodeo, I won, and then I had to figure out this isn't actually just going to be as easy as it was the first time. Like I'm sure the second rodeo you entered, you were just like came in there confident, and you probably just got demolished, you know? And that's when you
Yes.
really got a taste of what rodeo was, if I had to guess.
Yes, exactly. I definitely got a taste. We had some local play days that my parents and another family there in Childress put on, and I definitely got a taste of what losing was pretty quickly when I got in the
Yeah.
rodeo world.
Yeah, and you're like, wow. Okay, so I'm not gonna win everyone every time. But you got a good taste of it. So you enter these, you're starting to do goat tying breakaway, and you mentioned it was a good little distance from the time that you started till you actually started bringing in some money and bringing in some buckles. How long was it? And do you remember like the first time you started actually winning and picking up?
I was 10 was the first year I made it to Vegas, and I'd say that was probably the year that I was like, "Oh, I can do this."
Yeah,
I started roping not long after I quit showing. There was a guy here in Childress. He's just a day hand. His name, I call him Roy, but his name is Chad Detweiler. And I would go have breakaway lessons every night, every Tuesday night after T-ball practice. So he really got me hooked on that. And then Cassidy Eakin, she tied goats in college and all that. She had a goat tying clinic, and my parents took me to her. She taught me how to tie goats, and she still helps me today. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I guess 10 was probably the time that I was like, oh, I can do this. And I made it to Vegas, and then
Wow.
I really got hooked on it, especially after I went to Vegas.
Yeah. So the first time, so you're 10, you make it to Vegas when you're 10, which is awesome. Uh you work, and what did you make it to Vegas in?
The 10 and under breakaway for the junior NFR.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And how did you do? So you go to Vegas, and Vegas, like I've been to Vegas, like it's very, very overwhelming when you first get there.
Yes.
Especially like I couldn't imagine doing it with all the horses and all that kind of stuff. Like very overwhelming. Um, and you're 10 years old. But you enter Vegas, and how did you do in Vegas for the first time?
I don't think I caught any of my calves, if I'm being
Really?
honest. But
Really?
it was quite the experience, I'd say that. Obviously I was just 10 and I was roping in Vegas, and that was when it was still on the second floor of the convention center for junior NFR, and the floor would shake when you would rope, and that really threw
Um,
me off. Um, yeah, it was such a cool experience though, getting to go out there and experience the whole Vegas thing. And then this year, when I go, it'll be my 8th year to go out there and compete.
you are a rank son of a gun. Wow. So, um, after Vegas, you were primarily, it sounds like doing breakaway. Or at least that's what you were focusing on because that's what you made it in Vegas for.
Mhm.
Did you really start picking up goat tying more? Or were you still doing goat tying then?
I was goat tying that year still, but that was before Mike and Sherry Lynn Johnson started the Vegas Toughest stuff. So there wasn't any goat tyings out there yet because Junior NFR doesn't do goat tying. So I guess right then I was really focused on breakaway since I made it to Vegas, but
Yeah.
I was still tying goats too.
Yeah. So, after that, you're competing a good bit. I know you mentioned you were doing a lot of sports. Did you stop? I'm guessing you've stopped all sports at this point, but back then, did you stop a lot?
I had not stopped very many of my sports yet. I was in public school until 6th grade. And in 6th grade is when I kind of quit sports. And I was like, okay, I'm really going to take up rodeo and chase it with everything. I was on a traveling basketball team.
Mm.
My aunt was a high school basketball coach, so I had that. And my other aunt is a high school volleyball coach. So I do all the volleyball camps and did a little bit of volleyball. I play golf. I still play golf, actually. I play golf for our local high school team, and I was showing pigs. So,
What in the world? That is wild. So you slow down a good bit on the sports side, but you were probably like never home ever during sports, rodeo, like it rodeo in and of itself, like I feel like we're never home. But then you add on sports, you were probably really never home.
yeah, I don't know what home is at this point.
Yeah,
Back then
yeah.
I thought I was gone a lot for all that, but it's totally different now. Now I'm gone even longer because now it's like week-long trips for rodeos and then come back and you got a golf tournament or come back and it's time to show pigs. So
Wow. You still show pigs?
I do still show pigs. This will be my senior year, so it's my last year.
Explain showing a pig. I've never really heard much on showing pigs.
Oh, so my aunt actually raises show pigs. That's kind of how I got into it. All my cousins showed pigs growing up, so I was kind of thrown into it, like you're gonna do this type deal, but I love it. Um, you pretty much fit a pig to a judge's liking, and then you show it with a stick in the ring, and you just walk it in circles, and a judge looks at it, and it judges it on its like how stout it is, how big boned it is. There's so much that goes into pig showing. You think there's a lot that goes into rodeo? Just go to a pig show.
Seriously? That is wild.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So you're is it really anything to do with what you're doing? It's really just how the pig looks practically? Like,
I mean, you have to be able to show them good too. Like if you're not showing a good pig right, and there's deals like you have to hide their flaws. Like if there's something going on their back end, you have to cross over their back end when the judge is trying to look in to hide it from them. And there's so many little tricks and stuff to it. You have to be a good showman in the ring for your pig to look good too.
wow. Wow. So you show pigs, you let me make sure I got this right. Show pigs, goat tie, breakaway. What other event did you do?
Reining Cow Horse.
Reining Cow Horse. How did you get into Reining Cow Horse?
I watched it at a high school rodeo and I was like, oh, that looks fun. And so I entered it the next weekend on my breakaway horse. I'm
Wow.
just a wing and a prayer, and that's who I still do it on. I do it on my breakaway horse.
Wow. So when you first wanted to chase this rodeo deal, like for me, we didn't like we had horses at the house, but like we didn't have a whole bunch of like, you know, 60, $70,000 roping horses and all this kind of stuff just laying around. We just didn't. You know, we made do with what we had. So it sounded like that's what you did. So when you started chasing this deal, you know, I know you entered polls on the horse you were showing. You're doing Reining Cow Horse and your breakaway horse. Are you still like, how many horses do you have now? Like, do you have a set horse for each event, or how's that working?
Well, I've trained every horse that I own and I ride right now. I don't think I've given over 10,000 for anything on my place right now.
Wow.
So, I have three breakaway horses and I have one goat horse, and then I have two 5-year-olds that are on their way to being goat and breakaway horses at the moment. Um, my roan horse, his name is Rouge. He's a gelding. He's 13 years old, I want to say. That's probably like my main mount. He just got hurt. I think it was last year, so we're still really trying to get back in the swing of things. But he's taken me big places. He came from Amber Crawford. Her husband Kurt healed on him for a while at a bunch of pro rodeos and stuff, and he was just blown up in the box. So I bought him for cheap, and I spent the time on him, and now he's one of the best out there. And then I have my little sorrel horse Fly. He's 11 now, I want to say. That's the horse that I won state and nationals on. He was just a little ranch pony. This is also the
Yeah.
horse that I cow horse on too. He just the Shakota Field. I was trying a different horse of his that was actually a breakaway horse one day. I was out there trying him in the arena, and Fly was not for sale yet. But I was like, I really liked that horse, and he was like, you know what? I have this other horse in the trailer, and so I jumped on him, and I just roped the sled on him, and he picked it up so quick. And I remember I roped my very first calf on him. I turned around and looked at my dad and smiled so big. I was like, I love this
Yeah.
horse. Um,
Yeah.
he has taken me tons of places. I normally only use him now in like a faster setup. Like if you're going to be like 1.8, 1.9, that's when I'll pull him out. And then I just recently bought a horse, or I say recently, I've had him for a while, but he doesn't go out very often until this year. His name's Tag. He's my buckskin horse. It's the horse that I actually won the Texas Cowboy reunion on. Um, I bought him off of a family friend. She just didn't like him anymore, and he was a pain for me to get with for the longest. Very first time I roped on him, he bucked me off. He would get
Wow.
hot in the box, and he was a pain. But eventually, now I'm finally with him. Now he's rock solid in the box, and it's probably one of my favorite horses to rope on now. And
Yeah.
then Ruby is my goat horse. She's the only mare I have on my place. She's the only mare I'll let be on my place. Um, I think she's probably 12 now. She's so cool. She was a blown up barrel horse, and then they steer wrestled on her. Some college kids did, and then they hazed on her, and then I took her and made her a goat horse in a week, and she loves her job. So
Oh, wow. So you get a whole bunch of blown up horses and just work with them practically.
pretty much.
And you ain't, and a lot of geldings. You ain't a mare person, really.
No, no, I'm not. I really love my gildings.
Wow. Blown up horses are really, really hard. I know the horse that I have, or that I've been working with, he was blown up bad in the box. And we're finally like, I feel like it's taken us forever. And we are finally getting him just like to where he is calm enough to even rope us here in the practice pen, and we are on the verge of drugging this horse just because he is so much. And but I guess for you, a lot of people, I guess, would assume like you just got all these nice horses and you know, just have went and bought $60,000, $70,000 horses and all this stuff, but that's really not the case. You worked your tail off to get each one of the horses that you have.
Yes, I don't come from much, so we work for what we use. But yes, it's taken a lot of time and patience and a lot of come to Jesus meetings because it gets frustrating when you're trying to train one and you take them to a rodeo and you can't win on them. It gets really frustrating, but when it all
Yeah.
comes together in the end, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. So even I've entered a lot of rodeos, and I can imagine you've entered a lot of rodeos. If you could just think on, your favorite rodeo so far that you've entered, what would it be?
It it'd have to be between Perry, Georgia. That was the year that I won nationals in 2022. That was probably one of my favorites I've ever been to. And then the best of the best in Gallup that we go to every year. That arena in Gallup is gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what give us one story of just a time where it just wasn't working out with you. Like maybe it was just a bad rodeo day. Just you would not go back and do it again, even if you like just never would.
Oh my. I guess I've probably had quite a few of those.
Yeah.
Um, I guess Vegas last year was pretty tough on me. I could not draw to save my life. I did not get to take my good roan horse out there. I actually was on a borrowed horse, Palomino
Mm,
horse. Um, yeah, it was a rough 2 weeks in Vegas. I roped good and I tied good, but I could not draw to save my life. I don't think I've ever been in such a bad drawing slump before. And I
wow.
left and I was like, I don't ever want to go back. But obviously I'm going back this year. So
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, from behind everything that we can see, at least for people watching on YouTube, you've won a couple things in your life. Um what is the biggest thing you've won? Um yeah, what's the biggest thing you've won so far?
goodness. That's a hard one.
Seems like you've won a lot of stuff. Biggest amount, like just biggest deal.
Goodness, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
Uh 2022 I won junior high nationals. That was a pretty big one. Actually three-peated. I won region, state, and nationals on the same horse that year. Um 2023 I was rookie of the year for high school Texas high school state. And then I'd say Junior World Finals, which is out in Vegas. I won it 2022 and 2023, the 19 and under breakaway. So
And like I'm guessing that's a check for 23,000 behind you.
one of them.
Good grief. Yeah, you know what's actually wild that I just thought of? I was in Vegas at that rodeo in 2023, which is absolutely wild to me. Like we
That
didn't
is
enter,
crazy.
but we were out there helping with the event. That is wild to me. We were out there the same year in Vegas. So that's pretty cool.
I'm
Um
sure I probably saw you somewhere then.
Probably we were out there with the ambassador team called Rodeo Kids. Like we had a big booth with a whole bunch of dummies and stuff. But man, that's cool. So what you recently just won something pretty big in goat tying, right? Um Tell us about that.
So that was the WCJR in Guthrie, Oklahoma at the Lazy Arena. I didn't win the world side of it, which the world side of it is like how many points you have like over the year or whatever. I actually wasn't even qualified in. I did the last chance qualifier when we got there.
Yeah.
and got qualified when we got there. And I won. I was second in the average for the last chance. I won the semis and I won the finals. So it was a good week.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That is really awesome. Um, so you're pretty much like at this point, what is your goal? I mean, like, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? Um, yeah,
So I guess my closest, biggest goal right now is for the CNFR. I mean, I'll be going into college next year. Um, I would love to be a CNFR all around champion. I'd love to win the goat tying and breakaway eventually. After that, of course, I want to make it to the NFBR one day. Hopefully,
yeah,
maybe my rookie year is kind of what I'm planning on.
yeah,
Um, I'm kind of holding out on my rookie year, so when I'm ready to do it, I'm gonna go hard at it and hopefully make the NFBR that year. And then Calgary is a roping that I've always wanted to go to, so that's a big one on my bucket list.
yeah. That's awesome. And do you what do I know you mentioned you're going to college. What are you going to college for?
I haven't quite decided yet.
Really?
Mainly just the rodeo, and then I'm gonna get a degree in something. I just haven't decided yet. Probably something along the radiology side of things. So
Yeah,
something in that field.
yeah. So you're just primarily doing it to rodeo and then you're just getting a degree while you're doing it
Yes,
practically.
yes, but I'm gonna get a degree to have a backup plan.
Yeah, just in case things fall apart. I gotcha.
Yes.
I gotcha. Um, yeah, a lot of people really do that. Like they'll, especially in the rodeo side of things, they'll just practically go to rodeo and then just get a degree just to have one practically. And they do use it as a backup plan. Um, as we're ending out, number one, well, actually, let's talk about where you live. You said you live in a really tiny town. 15 people live there?
Yes, I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere. If you've ever heard of STS Ranchwear, it has Till, Texas is where it's out of. Um, so Strand Smith is who that is, and we've been fence line neighbors with Strand and his family for I don't even know how long, probably over 10 years out here.
Yeah.
Um, there's the little Southside Baptist Church out here, and we have a post office that is probably the smallest post office I've ever seen. So,
Really?
yes.
Wow. I would imagine for a little bit of people living there. Um,
Yes.
we always say that we live in a super, super small town. We have way more people than that, but we have one red light. We have a whole bunch of stuff in our town, but it is very, very small. Um,
All we have is a stop sign.
oh my goodness, that is wild. Wow. Wow. That is crazy to me. So you live in this, have you lived there your whole life?
I have, yes. And
Yeah.
my dad, my dad lived in between here and Childress, but I am seventh or eighth generation out here. So
Wow. So you know everybody out.
pretty much.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very hard to figure out everybody. You know everybody. Wow. So yeah, that's wild. But I guess Texas, that's cool. Like I've always wanted to move to Texas and go live in Texas so bad. Like when I go out to Texas, it makes it even like it makes me want to go even more. Just because like that's just where the champions are. That's where a whole bunch of people are. And I'm not saying like you have to live in Texas to be a champion. Like that's been proven over and over.
Yeah.
But there's just it's so much opportunity out there. And I'm guessing you've seen a lot of the
Yes.
opportunity that's in Texas too.
Yes, living in Texas definitely does give you so many opportunities to become better. I mean, there's rodeos every weekend, everywhere. I mean,
Yeah,
you could rodeo every day out here if you wanted to.
yeah, for sure. For sure. You're practically at a rodeo every weekend, aren't you?
Yes,
Like that. We
always.
are
I,
we are
I
too.
don't think I'm ever home anymore.
Wow. So what's your plans, these next few weeks? Where are you going to rodeo?
So this coming weekend, I'm up in Roby, Texas, Friday morning in the slack, and then I tie goats in Hobbs, New Mexico, Sunday, which is the 24th. The next weekend I start region rodeos. So I'll go to Stanton, Texas for that. And that's as far as I know on my calendar.
Wow, that is wild. Well, when you get famous, please don't forget me. Please don't forget
Oh,
me. I'm just kidding. Last a couple more things that we have. We also seen that you were on another podcast. How did that go about, and how was that?
so yes, I was on Tough Draw Sports Podcast. Tough Draw is actually my agent, and so I kind of had it in on that one. And we were just talking one day on the phone. He's like, "I think you should be on my podcast," and I was like, "Sure, tell me when." And so that was my first podcast that I did. And it was such a cool experience. We got to go do it down in the stockyards, and yeah, it was super cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. A couple last questions we have. One, how okay, we'll ask a few more, but how has God shown up in your life recently?
Oh my goodness, big man upstairs is the only way I make it through life. I'm one of those very competitive people who's very, very hard on myself. I could go win a rodeo and one little thing been wrong about my run, and I'm beating myself down about it because it's rodeo is very much a mental game.
Yeah.
I do have a mental coach that I use that keeps me going, but big man upstairs definitely is my key to success. He always has been the answer, and he always will be the answer. And I actually wear it on my collar. It's JISTA is an acronym, JISTA. Jesus is still the answer, and it's just a reminder, like win, lose, or draw. He's bigger than it all, and it really doesn't matter. I live
Yeah.
for his kingdom, and I'm a daughter of a king, and so just because I
Yeah.
missed that calf, it really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. And you'd mentioned that you have a mental coach. The mental side on rodeo, it's hard, especially when you're not really home. You're not seeing a whole bunch of family. You're rodeo and rodeo and rodeoing, ups, downs, in betweens, mean people, nice people. You practically see it, hear it all. Talk about a little bit about the mental side of things, the importance of the mental side of things, and how that's been success in your life.
Yes, so like I said before, I'm always very, very hard on myself, and so mental game is something that I always struggle with. Um, I can put in the practice and everything, but my mind is who I fight with every time I walk in that arena.
Yeah,
My mental coach, her name is Amy Jacobs, and she's Amy Jacobs Mental Coaching. I've been working with her for the past 2-ish years, I want to say. Um, and she has just built me up. She's helped me with my nerves, which is also something I really struggle with. Not very many people can see it, but I'm one of those people who gets really shaky before I tie a rope. And if you'll go back and watch some of my videos when I'm on bigger stages, I'll be completely shaking.
yeah,
Um, Nobody really ever pays attention to it, and they're like, "Oh, you're always so good with pressure," and I'm like, "I'm actually really not. I just kind of go with it." Um, but yeah, mental game with all the highs and the lows of rodeos and like how much you're gonna lose more than you win. And as a competitive person, I come from a family of you either win or you're the first loser. Like there's no other way around it.
yeah,
So coming from that, it's really hard, like going to rodeo and knowing that I'm not gonna win every time. Um, Bad draws really get me down.
yeah,
Knowing that I if I would have drawn their calf, I really would have won, or if I would have done this, I could have won. And definitely mental game is, like I said, something that you've got to be on top of it even more than your physical. Not saying that you don't need to practice and everything, but if you can be on top of your mental, you'll beat all those that put in the practice, but they just get beat by their own mind when they get there.
Yeah, I like that a lot. If there was like one takeaway that you could give to somebody like that is really struggling with their mental game, what would you say to them?
Just breathe. That's what the very first call I did with Amy, she was like, "Are you breathing?" And I was like, "Probably not." So
Yeah,
I can just tell you, just breathe. I mean, literally it seems like the craziest thing ever, but if you'll just focus on breathing when you get in high pressure situations or you start to get nervous or you're doubting yourself, literally just breathe. The
yeah,
oxygen calms your brain down and it just puts you on a whole new level.
yeah. I think that's a bad thing for me. Like when I back in the box, my I'm holding my breath until I get probably halfway down the pin. Like that's just the way I've always been. Sometimes I tell myself, breathe, calm down. Especially like that one horse that I'm working with, he gets starting to work up. Yeah, just breathe, calm down. Like, oh my goodness, that's definitely like a big deal, a big thing for sure because it's so easy and you don't even realize it. Like you get done running, the, you know what I mean? Because you did not take the time to breathe or just calm yourself. I think that's the same way in runs and everything. I think it's just breathing, taking the time just to chillax just a little bit.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. So, what legacy do you hope to leave behind? You're really young. I usually ask this to, my older guests, or I actually ask it to all my guests, but most of my guests are older. But what legacy are you hoping to leave behind after you're gone and out of here?
Oh, that's a tough question. I want to be known as that person that was nice to everybody, that person that cheered everybody up, that I wanted you to win more than I wanted myself to win. Um, I want to be known as a winner in and out of the arena,
Yeah.
and I want them to remember me as a daughter of the king. Really, I mean, a daughter of the king is all those things that I just said, and if I can be remembered like that, I think I'd be pretty happy with my life.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. And um I think that the legacy is so important, what we leave behind. And I like that you said, if you're just obey what the Lord wants, then everything else practically falls in place. Um,
Yes.
it's just the way it is. If you're a son and a daughter and you just do what you're supposed to, I think that every other step falls in place. And I really do. I really think that's one of the most true statements I've heard in a while. But I think ending this out, um, if one person was wanting to chase, what would you say you're better in, the breakaway or the go tie?
Oh, depends on the day.
Mm. If you had to lay one down, what would you lay down?
I'd probably have to lay down goat tying, even though I love it so much, just because my career with that ends after college.
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Like a lot of people put a lot of time and energy into goat tying, and like a lot of people seem to love it. But it do you think that that'll ever be something you see like after the college level? Like I couldn't picture seeing goat tying at the NFR. Like maybe, but do you see that something that'll ever grow farther than college?
I don't know. We're getting to be on some bigger stages. We just got in with the WCRA in Fort Worth, and they had that big showcase out there. Um, but there's really not much for us to do after college anyways, which by the time we're through college, most of us good goat tires bodies are done for anyways.
Yeah.
Like I'm 17, I've already had two major surgeries on the same leg. So
From
it's
goat
just
tying?
yes.
What in the world?
So I mean, I definitely hope that we make it out that big. I don't know if it'll ever make it to the NFR, but I mean, just a big open rodeo that like would add goat tying, that would be super cool.
Wow. We've been in this podcast this long and you're just now going to mention the surgeries? Oh my goodness. You when did you have surgeries and how did that set you back?
um, so actually both surgeries were 2024. I had knee surgery April 2024, and I had foot surgery December 2024. Um, I had been dealing with my knee since like March of 2023, and I just wouldn't stop. So Vegas 2023, I had a bunch of wins that year. Um, I was hurt the whole time. I could barely walk.
Mm,
I had a big knee brace on, or I didn't have my big one yet. I just had my little one. I could barely walk around Vegas that year.
yeah.
Um, and then all the way until April, I wore a knee brace that went from my hip to my ankle, and I still competed and did all the things, and I just
Yeah.
kind of went with it. Um, so then I was off for, let's say it was like 2 or 3 months. Um, well, I wasn't completely off. I actually played my regional golf tournament. I think it was 3 weeks after surgery. I still had my stitches in, and I walked
Mm,
2 days of 18 holes because I wouldn't let my team down. Um, so I kind of took off for a little bit, got back into breakaway, slowly got back into goat tying. Labor Day weekend, stepped off and messed up my foot because I was overcompensating for my knee. So very first
um,
goat run back, I was done. Um,
so did you get down and immediately feel it?
uh, I stepped on a rock, and so it my body, the way it handles impact injuries is it creates these nerve masses, and the only way to remove those is surgically. And
Wow.
so then I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just tough it out again. Well, my foot was actually a lot worse than my knee. Um, it had grown around the bones in my foot and gotten all through my nerves and like everything. It had just messed everything up in there. So when I got home from Vegas last year, I had foot surgery. It was a very intense surgery and it was a very intense recovery. It got me down for a while, a lot longer than my knee did. I was on crutches for I was supposed to be walking and moving in 6 weeks, and I was on crutches for 6 weeks.
Mm,
So but eventually just kind of eased back into it. I had some great PT people that they're here in Childress. They pushed me to be better, that's for sure. They
yeah.
always got more out of me than what I would give. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of just pushed through it, and then it ends up being worse than what it was supposed to be. But that's just kind of how I roll, I guess.
Dang. And during those times, did you ever think to yourself, like, Lord, do you just want me to stop rodeoing? Like, is this the
Oh yeah.
sign?
Oh yeah, both times. I was like, is this a sign that I just need to quit goat tying? I was like, is this a sign, especially after foot surgery? It was talked about a whole lot in Vegas. I was like, maybe I should just like give this up because it just seems to keep getting me down, but still tying goats.
Yeah. No more
So
surgeries, Lord willing.
I hope
Golly.
not.
Wow. So going back to ending, now that you just wanted to drop the surgery part, if you could have one piece of advice to someone wanting to chase the breakaway side of things, what would it be?
Never give up on your dreams. If you have a dream, go chase it. Find the Lord. He'll show you your way, and you just chase your dreams. Get you a good support system, and you follow your dreams with everything you got.
Yeah. Wow. I appreciate that. And I appreciate the advice. And I hope that helps somebody out. But is there anything else you'd like to share before we end this?
That I know of, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. And yeah, I think this episode will be really good. I hope it'll help somebody out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.